All right, let's jump into this deep dive. Today, it's all about Israeli real estate, something we know you're following closely.
Yeah, it's a fascinating market, that's for sure.
We've got some interesting sources to dig into, a PDF all about new standards for entrepreneurs over there, especially in real estate, and and something called Conversations with Gideon, the beginning of a journey.
Huh. I'm not sure how that connects yet, but that's the fun part.
Exactly. Uncovering those connections. One thing that jumped out at me, though, there's this real push towards sustainable practices and, making a positive impact on communities.
It's pretty remarkable how Israeli real estate seems to be finding this sweet spot where sustainability and social impact meet.
Yeah, let's unpack that a bit. Our source, the one about the new standard for developers, it's in green building, sustainability that's not optional anymore.
Right. It's becoming the baseline.
But how are developers handling that? Isn't that a tough thing to balance? All these new expectations, but they still need to make a profit.
It's a shift, for sure. But I think developers are starting to see that green building isn't just, a nice to have.
Oh, so you're saying it's actually good for business.
Exactly. Think about it. The regulations are getting stricter, consumers are more aware, and frankly, it just makes sense in the long run. Green buildings attract tenants. Often they cost less to operate.
And they create a better living environment. So it's smart, really. They're turning a potential burden into a competitive advantage.
That's a great way to put it.
But how does this tie into impact investing? That's something else our source mentions. Is that, actually possible? Making money, A&D making a difference?
Impact investing is gaining momentum. It's all about investments that generate both financial returns and positive social or environmental impact.
So it's not just about charity, it's about
aligning your values with your investments.
Yeah, that's it. Are there, any actual examples of this in Israel?
Oh, absolutely. One that comes to mind. The Droyanov House project in Tel Aviv. They took a neglected area, think garages, industrial stuff, and they transformed it.
It's a vibrant space, education, community activities, the whole package.
So they took a liability and turned it into an asset. Clever, but was it profitable?
That's the thing. It was. It proves impact investing can work, even in a high-value city like Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
Makes you think about the possibilities, right?
Definitely. And it shows a real commitment to responsible development. Okay, Droyanov House is one example, but our source also talks about this realty fund. What's their deal?
Another great example. They're really putting impact investing into practice, but on a larger scale. Let's focus on one project, The Gate. It's not just apartments, it's a community hub. They saw the area was lacking green spaces, places for people to gather.
So they addressed a real need.
Yeah. It's about more than just housing. It's about community building.
That's impressive. But what about companies that are like, sustainability is just part of their DNA from the start?
Oh, there are several.
Right.
Mindspace, they offer shared workspaces, but they're super focused on their carbon footprint. They really did a deep dive into their own operations.
Yeah. And they found their biggest impact area was energy consumption. So they went all in on efficiency. Smart systems, optimizing their HVAC. They even educate their tenants on how to reduce their footprint.
Wow, a holistic approach. They understand their impact, they take action, and then they bring their tenants on board. But are they saving money? Or is it all, PR?
Both. Energy efficiency often leads to direct cost savings. Plus, it attracts a certain type of tenant.
The environmentally conscious kind.
Exactly. They want to work in a space that aligns with their values.
Smart. They're attracting the right tenants. A&D saving money.
Yeah.
Okay, what other companies are doing this well?
Let's talk about the big Carmi Gap project. It's mixed use. You've got offices, shops, apartments all in one, and they're really focused on energy efficiency.
In a sunny place like Israel, you'd think that would be a no-brainer.
You'd think so, but they're going beyond the obvious. Think smart shading systems, adapting to the sun, reducing the need for AC. Plus, they've got top-notch insulation. All of this means lower energy bills for the tenants.
Which makes the space more attractive and allows them to charge higher rents. It's a win-win.
Exactly.
All right, we've got Mindspace, Big Carmi Gat. Any other standouts?
The mill project in Kfar Saba is worth mentioning. They're using prefabricated construction methods.
Hold on, prefabricated construction. I know the term, but how does that actually work?
Basically, major components are built off-site. Walls, floors, even bathroom units. Then they assemble it all on location.
Ah, so it's like a giant Lego set for buildings. That's got to be more efficient. But what about the building itself? What makes it special?
Well, they've got a green roof, which helps with insulation and rainwater, and they maximize natural light.
So less reliance on artificial lighting. Smart. And I bet those features increase the property value, too.
Definitely. Green building standards are becoming a major selling point.
So they're eco-friendly A&D clever about it. Okay, so far we've got Mindspace, Big Carmigat, the Mill Project. Any others?
Let's add the Hersedman Conference Center at Reichman University. Their big focus was accessibility and comfort, making it easy to navigate, enjoyable to be in. But they did it all while being super mindful of energy consumption.
Wait, accessibility and comfort.
Yeah.
How does that connect to sustainability?
Well, think about it. If a building is uncomfortable, people crank up the AC.
Right.
But if you design for natural ventilation, smart shading.
You can keep it cool naturally.
Exactly. So thoughtful design can contribute to energy savings.
Impressive. What about residential projects? Are we seeing these trends there?
Absolutely. The new Bavli neighborhood residential project is a prime example. Energy efficiency, water recycling, and get this, a park to enhance biodiversity and quality of life.
A whole park. They're really going all in. It's not just about eco-friendly apartments. It's like creating a mini ecosystem.
Right. And all of these features, they lead to higher potential sale or rental prices. People are willing to pay a premium for a sustainable lifestyle.
So there's a real financial incentive for developers to do this. It's not just about doing the right thing. It makes good business sense. Now, I'm curious about this idea of mixed-use developments, which our source mentions.
Mixed-use developments are definitely a growing trend. Think living spaces, workspaces, shops, restaurants, all in one development.
It sounds like a more efficient, dynamic way to design cities. But what's driving this trend in Israel?
Well, land is scarce. Cities are dense. People want convenience. They want to live, work, shop, socialize, all within easy reach. Mixed-use developments deliver that.
Makes sense. It's like creating these self-contained communities where everything is walkable.
Exactly. And it reduces reliance on cars, which is another plus for sustainability.
So goodbye to those old separated zones for different activities, and hello to a more integrated approach. It's kind of like a modern take on the town square concept.
You got it. Bringing life back into urban centers, a more sustainable and vibrant way of living.
I love that. It's not just practical. It's about building community.
Yeah.
But our source also mentioned this growing demand for innovation, especially among younger generations. How is that playing out?
Well, younger generations, they're digital natives. They expect things to be smart, efficient, and they're really aware of the environmental challenges we face. They want solutions, not just talk.
So greenwashing won't cut it anymore?
Not at all. Developers need to show they're serious.
What are some examples of this demand for innovation in action?
The Energy Zero Children's Garden in Hadera is a great example. It achieved a positive energy balance.
Hold on. Positive? You mean it's actually producing energy?
Yeah. Through solar panels, energy-efficient design, sustainable materials, the building actually makes more energy than it consumes.
That's incredible. Are there other projects like this?
The Dream Gardens Park project in Rishon LeZion is another one. It's a residential project, but it earned the highest rating in the Israeli standard for green building. It shows these principles can be applied on a larger scale.
So it's not just for niche projects anymore. But realistically, doesn't all of this cost more? Are these buildings actually financially viable in the long run?
It's a common question. Yes, upfront costs might be a bit higher, but green buildings often sell at a premium, sometimes 5–15% above market prices.
Okay, that's significant. So it's a smart investment. What else makes them financially attractive?
They tend to have higher occupancy rates. People want to live and work in sustainable spaces.
Makes sense. What about operating costs?
Lower. They use less energy and water, so utility bills are lower.
That's a big one. What about maintenance? I feel like sustainable materials might be more expensive to maintain, right?
Actually, it's often the opposite. They tend to be more durable, require less maintenance over time.
So it's not just about initial savings, it's about long-term financial sustainability. It benefits everyone.
Exactly. And let's not forget the potential for tax incentives. The government is offering benefits to developers who adopt sustainable practices.
Right. So is it safe to say that Israel is really leading the way in this whole sustainable development movement?
They're definitely up there. They've got this focus on innovation, a real entrepreneurial spirit. It's created a fertile ground for this kind of progress.
It's inspiring to see, okay, we've covered a lot from impact investing to specific design elements to this whole shift towards mixed-use developments.
Yeah, we've been all over the map.
But the key takeaway, I think, is that the future of real estate isn't just about building structures. It's about creating spaces that are,
In harmony with the environment.
yeah, and that contribute to the well-being of the people who use them.
Absolutely. It's about creating spaces that are both functional and soulful.
Perfectly said. Okay, before I move on to part 2, can we circle back to Gideon Barcella and that beginning of a journey excerpt? I'm still wondering how his story connects to all of this.
Me too. It's intriguing, isn't it? We don't have a lot to go on, but the title definitely hints at something new and innovative. Perhaps he's embarking on a project that embodies these principles.
That would be amazing. A real-world example of someone putting these concepts into action.
Right. It would really highlight how these trends aren't just abstract ideas. They're being embraced by individuals who are shaping the future of the industry.
It would be fascinating to learn more about his specific projects and how they reflect this evolving landscape. But for now, we'll have to keep that curiosity simmering.